trying to get with me. What would she do if your girl only knew that you was kissing her to talk to me? She would probably leave you alone. Probably curse you out and number her phone. I bet she'd be mad. She was gone. She wouldn't have to worry. If your girl only knew that I don't want to kick it with you. If she knew, if your girl could only see how you be calling me, getting fresh in me, she would probably leave you alone. Probably curse you out and not her phone. She'd be glad she was gone. She wouldn't have to worry. You like it what you see? Everything designer, that's on me. That's why when I walk, looking like you, just tryna, yeah. This trip got you in heat. It's jumping, baby girl, hop on it. Yeah. You know that I'm on beat. All these trips got you free, yeah. Cause I some time no love. Girl, I know that you ready. Girl, I'm not gonna let you down. I ain't gonna keep you waiting. If you thought it's gonna get knocked up, you playing hide and seek, I'ma find you. Baby, hold on tight when you ride me. You know I like to eat, give me the options. If you thought it's gonna get knocked up, I wanna get equal. All that hurts for my ego. Baby, we gon' keep it simple. You got that love on me. You like it what you see. Everything designer, that's on me. That's why when I walk, looking like you, just tryna, yeah. This bitch got you in heat. It's jumping, baby, girl, I'm on it. You know that I'm on beat. All these drip got you clean. We've been on a tragedy for once. Why can't you agree with me for once? Maybe we can be on chill tonight. Maybe I can give you chills. We've been on a tragedy for once. Why can't you agree with
What up, bro? What up, bro?
What up, bro?
Chilling, man, chilling.
I see you saw the party tonight. Look, Boosted, look, wait, what's happening? The queen is here, Miss Latanya Renee. Oh, yeah, that's Dr. B's in the building. Monica on her way. Hey, see, it's going to be a real show today, boy. I'm going to let these ladies have.
All right, it's our lady show tonight, huh?
All ladies show tonight, but we get some standby.
Already.
We can say what we need to say, but then again.
Yeah.
My man said I don't want to cut. Ooh, Mr. Renee got all cute for the camera today. What a king is. I'm going to tell him. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm not going to do too much introductory stuff. We're going to get right on. Speed's here. T-Thon's here. We're just waiting on Monica. That's it. Woo, hello, Mr. Harrington. Oh, no, tonight you BG. What's going on, BG?
Nothing much.
Hey, mama.
Hey, how you doing, babe?
Doing good.
All right, while we waiting on, I know Miss Roy gonna get on a little later. So with Monica. Please, since you back, bro, I'm gonna let you do it. Come on with.
What's up? What's that?
Come on with prayer, bro.
Okay. All right, let's bow our heads. Lord, I just want to thank you for another day. Thank you for all the mercy you've been giving everyone, Lord, to see the graces that's been out here for us, Lord. Just thank you for everyone that's going to be on the show tonight. Thank you for all the ones that are out there sick, Lord. Let's just lift everyone up in prayer. Lord, I just thank you for bringing me back to the show. I know I've been missing for a couple of weeks, but I'm back. And I just thank you for just keeping my mind right and keeping my soul at ease. Thank you. In Jesus' name, pray, amen.
Amen.
We're gonna ride this for a little bit, then we're gonna get right into it. How was everybody's day?
Good.
It's been a week.
Man, who you telling? It's been a week.
It's like you went to the office today, bro, didn't you?
Yeah, for a little bit. I came on back home.
Already.
But no need me to be there long.
Yeah.
Well, we were just putting together where we sitting at and all that kind of stuff. That's it.
So he's going in what, twice a week or once a week?
So we're gonna be doing twice a week. So I'll be at home 3 times and I'll be at the house twice.
Okay.
What up, Beezy?
What's up?
I'll spend the night with you. Mama, you will be all the things that make me free. You know just what I mean. 'Cause tonight you look like I'm free. Make you fall in love. Make you touch the stars above. Even though we are free, I'll be back and feel it again. And again and again and again. Oh, 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 oh. Touch me, touch me. Hold on tight and don't let go. I'm about to explode. I'm gonna explode.
So y'all know me, right?
Coming down. Boy, let me. How do I say goodbye to what
Y'all watch the
we
stream.
had?
Oh,
The
really?
good time that made us laugh, I'm waiting back.
You stupid.
I thought
I
we
thought we
get
Really?
the
together,
Super
but
Bowl.
forever's gone now.
You wild, boy.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. I don't know where
You stupid.
is going to
Oh,
Hey, you
be.
see Joe
what?
Burrow? You see Joe Burrow chain he was wearing in the
All
press
I
conference?
Look,
know
he
is
been hanging around some
where we've
brothers.
been.
He
I'm
said,
like,
he
who
said,
you
I got
ain't
money. It
with?
gotta be real. It gotta be real.
Gotta be real. All right.
If we get to tomorrow,
I had to.
I
It was a
hope
must.
it's worth all
Because if I did, then the Cowboy fan tell me, oh, you wrong. You do
Yep.
everybody else like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely, because you gave the
to
Cowboys a
say
visit.
Oh,
goodbye to
whatever.
So I know they had that chick on
yesterday.
Channel 8 one day. The
Oh, they
girl
did?
the black lady that was they had doing the memes on, she was on Channel 8 one day.
Hey, boy, she was famous. She got famous real quick. Let's go.
It's official.
1, 2,
It's
3.
official.
We're here for a particular reason.
Time to put the kids to bed.
And that reason is
It's time for the full 180.
Yeah, it's time for another edition of the Full 180. Hello, hello. It is Tuesday, man. The day before all y'all done went to the grocery store and got all the toilet paper, all the chicken, all the bleach. Ain't finna clean up nothing. Y'all done got all this stuff because the weather finna get bad, right? Boy,
Right on time,
that
food
is
stamps.
great.
Food
Look,
stamp
boy,
time.
look. I heard somebody look when Slim Thing talking. You can't even buy a can of chili. Oh my God! They already in the stores again.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
why I went
man!
at 7:00 this morning
when
when the
the
stores
when
was
the
being
car got there.
stocked. Yes,
Oh
when the truck.
Lord!
Look, I'm like, I took it out the box before he could put it on the shelf.
Oh wow! He was outside. Hey! Let me get that. Let me get that right there. Let me get that right
Yeah.
there. I
Wow.
can't stand it.
Wow.
I can't. I
I
can't.
wasn't playing.
I can't. I can't do it, boy. Look, it was. I heard that. I was like, here we go. It's all over again. But no, real talk, man. Look, the weather's supposed to be coming. Lord, I pray it doesn't. But if it does, man, I want y'all to be safe. Get everything you need. Keep your kids warm. Keep yourself warm. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do, but please be safe. We know what we ran into last year with the electricity rollouts and the water freezes, and
Right.
man, it was a whole bunch of stuff going on. But we are here on Tuesday, like we are normally are at 8 p.m., man, ready to give you nothing than good content and good context on the full 180. I'm not going to do a lot of intro stuff. I do want to remind you of the Juneteenth celebration that will be here. Of course, you know, I have the pleasure to be on the committee along with Miss Patricia Bailey, AJ, Jo, assortment of people who are putting this together this year. See, they still be calling you about spinning inside, bro. I don't know yet.
Right.
Well, we want you to come out. It's going to be at Fairport. It'll be a 2-day event this year. So Saturday will be the free event. We'll actually have a live show there doing inside the expo. And then Sunday, I believe, will be the car show. So we want you to come out. There'll be tents. We just ask you to bring your lawn chairs and just come out and enjoy Juneteenth, man. You know, we wanted to be safe. We wanted to be a positive experience like it was last year. And I know that the entertainment is going to be a whole lot better than what it was last year. If I'm not mistaken, yours truly, she will be giving you the best that she got. Anita Baker will be on the stage, man. I'm excited to hear about that. And I know Ro Parrish is coming. He's going to give you all the permission. So, man, make plans for that. I'll give you more information as far as the date. I know that Saturday is actually the 18th. I'm planning something, so I'll definitely let you know. I'll let you know because it might be an after party after the party. You know what I'm saying? You know how we get down. Look, if you don't do anything else, man, we need you to go. I want you to go to a brand new site that I've created with some business partners of mine, DFW Social Elite, man. When I tell you this is where grown hours meet sexy. We don't do parties, we create experiences. We want you to go on, follow us on IG and Facebook. I have a plethora of events coming in starting in February 19th, such as the Brims and Mimosas, Beats and Brunch, man, is going down. Of course, my main man, Chris Sax Mitchell, and if you have not heard Clover the Violinist, you are definitely in for a treat. Ladies, wear your hats. Men, wear your hats. I believe there'll be a cigar vendor. There'll be a pop shop brought to you by Violet Kisses. If I'm not mistaken, I will check on that. If not, then we'll make other arrangements to make that happen. Other than that, man, the other part is the Bomb Charlotte, man. I am back on the airwaves, Mixmaster Weekend, Friday through Sunday. Shout out to my main man, DJ Easy Ice, who puts together this radio station in North Carolina. So you can catch me on there. I don't know exactly what times. It's me and a plethora of DJs, the Mix Squad. So we have a good time doing what we're doing. Everything from, I want to say, the 90s up to 2007. That's what you'll get. Just a good time, man. Very good time that you can enjoy on the radio. Shout out to my main man, Shed G. He'll be doing something again at the House of Comedy in Plano on February 23rd. It's ladies' night. Every comedian there will be ladies. This gentleman, if you don't know him, follow him at Shed G on Instagram. He's actually the voice for Medea with Tyler Perry. I got a chance to meet him, hang out with him, of course. He's also a member of KA Psi, Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated, along with D. Ellis and a couple other brothers. But cool dude, got a chance to meet him, man. He's won many awards, so go check him out at the House of Comedy in Plano if you get a chance. And don't forget, if the weather does permit, he just had this on the 29th, but he'll be doing the end of the month again this month. It'll be in the same place. I'll make sure to get the updated flyer. And if you always want to you want to sew into us, you can always do it by being a private investor, by sending in, you can cash app us at $MASON410, or just email us and tell us what you would like to do at the 4180convo at gmail.com. Man, it's been a minute, and I gotta say it. My brother's back. C Murder, aka Charles Carey, the DJ legend. He is at home in Garland doing a brand new daiquiri shop. So I'll be out there to come check you out for sure, brother. But I'm glad to see you back, man. I'm glad to see you there. How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. Just getting used to being at the house with myself now. That's it. That's really it.
That's it.
I'm finally getting some sleep.
Okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Just getting some stuff situated, stuff transferred, and everything. So that's pretty much it right now.
Well, good, brother. I continue. I hope God continue to keep His hands on you while you're traveling through what we call life, man. And you got people to lean on, so you're not by yourself at all. Of course, man, got a shout out to the fam. The fam is in the building. You may notice it's a bunch of ladies tonight. Yep, tonight is ladies' night because we are talking about something towards the ladies. The dudes don't sit back. I don't even have too much to say. But the ladies are going to be in here. I got all the lovely ladies in the building. Starting with none other than the queen all the way in North Carolina. Her name was LaTanya Renee. If you have not met her, you need to go see her. What I mean by going to see her, she has a book out. It's called Wounded in Worship. This is stories things that you normally would happen to you at home happen to her at church. She's dealt with traumas. She's dealt with triggers. She's dealt with it all. She's also a life coach and she's a counselor. And she definitely will be here for the Women's Empowerment event. So I thank her for being here tonight. Hello, Miss LaTanya. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for the invitation,
Wonderful. Bro. No problem. Tell the king I say hello.
I will.
Not right underneath her is none other than Lil Webby. Lil Webster. She is back. Now we call Lil Webby for a reason because she's gonna tell you that's the misuse of the word, and she's going to go get the definition. But she's also a teacher, a mother, and always going to give you the opinion that she has, but it's always warranted. You'll find out in just a second. Next to her is none other than me and Charles and B's queen of the beehives. We call her mama. You may call her Barbara, but tonight she BG. BG is in the building. And then alongside her is none other than one of our own licensed therapists. She'll be licensed for show in 2022, walking across stage. It is none other than Brianne Miller, aka Dr. B. And of course, I got my friends in the building, man. Look, Mo, I call her Mo. You can call her Monica. You don't know her like that. But Mo, I met Mo when I was engaged to Ty. And we have been cool ever since. And I mean, when I met her, it was like, great. Oh. And then, to hear the kudos that I got makes me feel so good. So, she's always family to me. So thank you for being here, Monica. I ain't gonna keep you long. I know you had to put dinner on the table and I want my plate. Please. Thank you. And then other than, I always say, if you want to know the girl version of me, just talk to my sister, because that's who she is. She's the girl version of me. We don't do mornings. Talk to us after 10, and her favorite word is listen. B, H, what's up, B? Big little sister, what's happening? She on here somewhere. She'll talk. But I ain't further ado, man. Look, I want to set the stage, because this is what we're doing. Talking about Black love, right? It's February. It's a love month. All you brothers finna go broke, trying to prove it all over again. If you ain't proved it all year, right? Some of y'all, I ain't that dude. You with me, you done got love all year long. This is just an addition or to what you've already been getting. But I want to do it from a totally point of view. Normally when we talk about relationships, love, and all that kind of stuff, we too busy going at each other. Oh, she do this, or he do this. Or I tell this story all the time, right? I told my mother and she laughed at me. I said, I envy you women, or not envy, but jealous of you women. Because when you women go through a breakup or something happen, this is it, y'all drop everything. Y'all find y'all a Spix or a Total Wine, buy all the liquor, go to your homegirl house, and it is forget him season. Now, you put that F where you want it to. I'm just going to say forget his season.
And wait and exhale moment when they all chilling.
Yeah, bro. He ain't this, girl. I knew he wasn't this. I told you to do better. You don't need all that stress, drama. No. Now, in the midst of this, just say it's about 7 women, right? In the midst of this, it's always that one person in the back that come out the blue and say, no, that was your fault. You messed that up. And then you talk about the dude, how good he is, but then you in here saying all this. And of course, the cheerleaders on the side I always say, yeah, shut up. Don't be saying all that. You don't see up here hurt. But she be telling the truth. So what I did was, that woman that was in the back, I went and got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them to be on tonight. The reason why is because I don't want to talk about what men do and what women do. Because my thing, and we're gonna do this with the men, because I got the business for them. But tonight we're gonna talk about, and I see this a lot on Facebook and YouTube, right? There's a lot of women out here who giving women the game and telling them certain things and certain that. Now, they don't always do it in the right way, in my opinion. But, however you need to receive it, that's cool. But I wanted to create a learning session, not a bashing session. So that may help a woman who don't really realize some of the problem is you. Hello, how you doing? Some of the problem may be you. It may not be what you say it is. And then when you get your cheerleaders away from you and you sitting by yourself and you can actually think and process some of the things, then it's kind of like, oh. So this is kind of like you looking at you in the mirror. Let's put it that way. And of course, all the ladies on here I know Mr. Tanya's she's engaged. I know Bree's still searching. I know my sister has conversation. I know Monica's married. I know Charles is in a relationship. I know Alicia's in a meaningful relationship. And of course, if you know my mother, she lost my father. So she definitely in a relationship with Jesus. So she ain't dating nobody else. Yeah. Not till me and Brandy approved. But anyway, that's another story. But I want to get into some questions I thought would be thought-provoking. Because it's like sometimes, just like dudes, I get on dudes all the time talking about, well, bro, da-da-da-da. Nah, that was your fault, bro. That you trying to twist that thing, or you trying to redirect it. So that's the flow that we going for today. So we good. We good. I set the stage. We straight. All right. So I'm gonna go and get into the questions. Now I want to tell you some of the questions that I've done. Well, let me tell you, this is not something I just come up with. This is me talking to other women who's actually said this. I actually talked to a real good friend of mine yesterday. Happy birthday, Keisha. And she literally said, and it blew me out the water. She said, I really feel sorry for some of these men these days because women out here just reckless at the mouth, talking to them like they 2 or 3, and think that it's okay. Through me, I was just like, wow, because you don't hear that often all the time. So let me ask you ladies this, and I'll try to make sure we'll keep this brief and we'll go through as many questions as we can get to. As women, do you believe that privacy in a relationship is necessary?
You mean between the two people in a relationship or people outside of the relationship?
No. In a relationship.
I think to a certain extent, and I think it just depends on where you are in your relationship. Like if we, obviously if you're just getting started, you're going to be a little bit more private than when you are married. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it just depends on where you are in the relationship and how you feel about the person. If you feel like you've built the trust with the person, do you feel like they really actually can contribute some value to, what you got going on to where you can express everything to them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think privacy is important no matter where you are in the relationship, because privacy to me is also connected to trust. When somebody tells me something in confidence, I take that very seriously because I think that's important. And a lot of times when you start sharing things about your relationship with other people, especially when you're angry, then you get over it, but they don't. And then they start to treat the other person a certain way, or don't really want to be around and hang out because of what you said while you were mad. And a lot of times we talk to other people when we need to go to the source. Talk to your spouse. Talk to your significant other if you have an issue.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. As far as people outside of the relationship, but I was wondering, was the question towards the two people in the relationship, like the boyfriend and the girlfriend, the husband and wife, or whatever.
So this is what I mean. This is what I mean by, so if something happens, Bree, and you share it with me, you're expecting me to not share that with nobody else. Like that was a moment with you that me and you had. So you don't expect me to share that with Charles. So that's what I mean by that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's between the two of you.
Cool. Anybody else? Okay. All right, I'm there. Y'all get it where y'all feel. I'm just shooting the questions out. So answer this as women. Explain, what is the difference between a grown woman and a little girl?
I'm gonna keep my phone on mute for a minute.
What's wrong with these spaces? I'm just asking the question.
It's your level of maturity.
It's funny because, like I say, it's been a long week, and I'm in a situation right now where I really had to put my grown woman panties on and not resort to the chick I was, back in high school. You know what I mean? And it is a difference. I feel like a woman is graceful in how she presents herself, graceful in how she handles situations. She's stern, but she's also fair. She knows how to control her emotions. Little girls pop off at the mouth. Whatever the situation is, they just react. And some people have remorse, some don't. Some actually feed off the fact that they are, I know a lot of people call it masculine energy, but they're the ones that really try to act a fool and be in control, or what I'm saying, and really don't have the foundational skills to actually make logical decisions.
Totally.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Anybody else? Y'all can jump in when y'all want to.
I'm gonna piggyback on what she just said. Your foundation has a lot to do with how you behave, your mindsets, your beliefs, and how you did. I mean, like my patterns of life, I can tell the difference when I'll be 53 soon. I can tell the difference in how I make decisions, my emotions behind my decisions now than when I was 20 something years old, dealing with pain and trauma and the way I was dealing with it. Now I deal with it in a whole different manner. So, but it has to do with the foundation of who I am. When I didn't know my worth, at 20 below, and actually almost at 30 years old, didn't have a clue about who I was, then I was making decisions like a little girl, always needing attention in a certain way and stuff like that. Now I'm founded and rooted in Christ and growing up, and I now handle those things definitely as a grown woman. So I don't need you to bring me my worth. I already have it. I am the prize. I'm not looking for you to actually make me feel better about myself. I am great within myself. So when, as a grown woman, my foundation now is settled in, actually, of course, the man upstairs, but also in myself. So I don't see things like a little girl. I don't run after everything just because it looks good. Or, we have a thing now we talk about, you might be compatible with somebody, but are they suitable for you? So you have to know the difference between being compatible. You might have a good time in the bedroom. You might, love to joke around, all the stuff like that. But wherever I'm going in life, are you suitable to go up there with me? Are we sharing the same dysfunction so we get along in dysfunction? But once I start going higher, are you able to handle that? So to me, it depends on your mindsets and where you are there's a big difference between a grown woman and a little girl, and what then the things they desire.
Okay. So the next question I have, as women, is shutting down in a relationship when problems have arisen healthy for a relationship?
No, and I can speak to that.
Okay, Bree.
And because what I was gonna say on what Miss Latanya was saying, I was gonna add to that growth. And for me, I have been the shutdown queen when it comes to adversity in relationships, and it doesn't solve any problems. It actually feeds into the problem. And it's kind of like when people have going through things, and you do things, maybe get drunk or something. Once you sober up, the problem is still there. You know what I mean? So shutting down is definitely not healthy. It just creates a larger gap. Communication is the key. Like I said, I can attest to that.
Anybody else?
So for me, shutting down is not good, but you have to know when to be quiet. Because sometimes you're not necessarily ready to deal with an issue. And so you have to, I guess, know that balance of shutting down and taking that step back to observe it. And sometimes you have to sit and wonder. Somebody told me one time, will this matter in 5 minutes, 5 weeks, 5 years? And that's when you have to know that balance of, it's not necessarily shutting down, but I'm stepping away from it right now so I can deal with it in a way where I won't have regrets down the line. Because what happens is if you don't take that time to focus, you may say something you regret, you can't take back, you may do something you regret. So I don't think you should shut down, but I do feel like you should know when to be quiet and take a step back. And one thing you said, communication is key. Communication is great, but comprehension is better, because we're all learning to communicate, but we're not comprehending necessarily what the person is saying. So just with that, communication is awesome, but I'm learning more and more. We can communicate all day, but if you're not necessarily comprehending what it is that I'm saying to you from my perspective, we can talk all day long and we're not going to get anywhere.
But and I totally agree with what you're saying, but I think men would understand the quote unquote shut down better if we would just simply say, I'm not in a headspace to discuss that right now. Give me my space, give me time to get out of my feelings and really process what you said, and then allow me to come back and then respond. But when we don't give them an explanation, then they're just like, oh, okay, well, she just shut down. Totally.
But you know what?
Everything.
I agree 100%, but I do believe that conversation needs to happen before you're angry. Saying, let me deal with it. What you can't do when you know what I mean? Because they'll take it better. So you have to have those conversations with your person constantly, even when you're not angry, because that's when you can get true comprehension in. That's when they'll know, hey, when we're into, I don't like when you do this. Give me some time to deal with it, and then we can talk about it. But you have to do it when you're not angry. Because if you do it when you're angry, you know what I mean? Nobody hears anyone when they're angry. So I do agree with you 100% on that. You do have to go ahead and let that person know. But I think it's important that we have those conversations sometimes about conflict when we're not in a moment of conflict.
And what I'm saying is that, so if I'm upset with you, that don't mean I quit talking to you for the rest of the day. That's telling me, hey, there's something I want to talk to you about, but I'm not in the space to talk to you about it. But when I get there, we need to discuss it.
It's two-sided. I think it's two-sided. You have to respect your person and know they're not ready right now. You have to respect that person's boundaries. Like, you know what I'm saying? You both have to be at a point of understanding. Like, you have to be like, okay, I know you're upset, but let's talk. I know you're mad, but I do think we should talk about this before the day is over. Both sides of that have to hear, because even the person that's angry have to hear that person enough to be like, because we want to move forward, and what our ultimate goal is, even when we're not, even while we're mad, is to make this thing work. So that means that I don't want to talk to you, but later on, then I may at least let you give your point, but you have to understand when I'm not ready to talk back. So I just think communicate, like she said, communication is so important. Comprehension is better, and I do feel like you have to have those conversations when you're not angry. Like you can't get when you get mad. That can't be when you set the ground rules. That can't be when you be like, well, don't you have to do it when you're not upset. And I tell my friends that I'm like, don't talk to him while you're mad. Talk when you're not angry. It's okay to have those conversations when you're not angry because you can actually hear one another.
And I'm glad you said that. Go ahead.
Okay, Monica, I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback on what you said, as well as, as far as when you have those conversations with your person from the start, saying, hey, this is how I handle conflict. It may not be the way that you may handle conflict, but in order for us to progress as a couple or husband and wife, whatever we're doing, then I need to be able to tell you, hey, when I'm that upset with you, then we need to table the conversation. And we can't wait until the moment, like you said, to table the conversation, because then it just, what's the word I'm looking for? It heightens the situation. And also, I think the other person, like you said, respecting the boundary, can't beat the dead horse either. Can't say, no, you're going to talk to me right now. No, you're going to talk. We're going to get this over with right now. Because then that also heightens the situation. So I don't know if it's going to take the entire day for us to come back and have the conversation, but I do think that is something that needs to be discussed. Like if we say, okay, hey, I need to table the conversation, doesn't mean table the conversation 2 weeks from now. Let's go.
And my thing, I'm sorry. And what I was saying was, and I agree with everything y'all saying. I didn't say it right. What I'm saying is that if I am upset with you and I want to have the conversation, if let's just say we're married, I can't walk around all day and not talk to you. That's to me, that's just ridiculous. Like we need to have a conversation, but we can do other stuff and keep it. And I'm saying that because I used to walk around hold grudges all day. I can walk around and not talk to you for about 2 or 3 weeks and be cool with it. But that didn't get me nowhere. That just kept us in a division. But when we don't effectively communicate with each other, then how can we get over it? And as Lil Webster always says, when you don't leave, if you don't have the conversation, then you're left with your own interpretation. And what you interpreting in your head may not be true. But if we don't talk about it, then now you upset about something that I can give you the answer to, and it can just make all this be whatever. But I do agree, don't be pushy about it at all. That was one of my problems as well. But since y'all said something about conversation, I'm going to play this, and I want your reaction from it.
I need to be able to talk to you and be honest with you without you being upset with me about what I was honest about. I want to be able to share my heart with you, but honestly, sharing my heart with you, I get in trouble when I share with you how I feel, because you feel that when I share how I feel, you feel that it's an attack against you.
Let's sit 1 second. We're gonna sit in that.
It's not an attack against you.
I know.
Because if we're gonna be honest, we in this marriage series and we still hadn't had a real conversation. And I've been wanting one. But the truth of the matter is I'm afraid, because you've taught me not to be honest with you about how I feel.
How did I teach you that?
Because you taught me that, because when I was honest with you, you made me pay for being honest with you. You got mad at me and had an attitude because you didn't understand how I felt the way that I felt about a situation. I only said I feel that you're not submissive, baby. And you got mad because I feel that you're not submissive. I feel like, well, baby, I feel like we're not having enough sex. And you got upset with me because of how I feel. Because I was honest with you. So you've taught me not to share my true feelings with you. Because whenever I do that, you shut down, you retreat. You take flight, you freeze, you don't talk to me. And so rather than having that smoke, I'll just suppress it and deal with it.
So what are y'all reactions?
My question is how did he approach her about, the situation? Coming and telling somebody, hey, I don't think we're having enough sex is different than actually, let's talk about what we can do to, make, you know, have sex more, or has he created the situation to where, you know, it can get intimate or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm
Did somebody
like
say
sugarcoating
sex?
it or anything. Hey, Rich Roy.
Hold on, Roy. Let her finish. Chill out.
Not that I'm sugarcoating anything, or but I know we talked to this previously, but sometimes it's just by the way it's approached. You know, we don't really know if he came to her in an attacking way. You know what I mean? And we don't, you know, it's there's so much gray area in that type of situation.
Well, I'm gonna say that.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let the rest of y'all say. Because Bree, what I'm gonna tell you, you heard it. This is my thing about we don't listen to listen. We listen to respond. But go ahead.
Okay, so for conversation's sake, let's say he did come to her in a loving tone and had these conversations multiple times. So I think that for whatever reason, between the two of them, they did not establish a friend zone or a safe place for the both of them to speak freely without the other person feeling attacked. Because when you create those type of friendships within your relationship, then it shouldn't be hard, or the other person shouldn't feel attacked if I'm telling you something that I feel, because we all know feelings are fickle and feelings ain't always facts. Just because I feel like that in that moment and I'm being honest with you about something, that doesn't mean that tomorrow I'm going to feel the same way. It's just in this moment while we're discussing it, this is how I feel, but it doesn't mean that it's an attack on you or that I love you any less. At least it shouldn't.
Right, and that's kind of where I was trying to get to. It was just like it's so much of the gray area where we don't know how the conversation started. Were they in a heightened situation where he said it? Well, I don't think we have enough, you know. So, and at the same time, we don't. What was the state of the emotions between the two of them when the conversation started?
But is that really the main point? I mean, seriously, let's just be honest. When we all get in our feelings and we're frustrated about something, we are not always going to approach it in the right way. Because when when you're already upset about it, when your approach is just not, because none of us are perfect. But I guess in my mind, should I be more concerned about how he approached me? Or should I be more concerned about how he's feeling? Sometimes we get so caught up in the approach, or sometimes I think what we do is that's how we reflect. Well, because of how you approach me, then you know what? I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm going to shut down and end the conversation. Especially when it puts us in an uncomfortable place.
What did I walk in on, guys? Help me clarify it. I apologize for my tardiness.
You cool. So I played this video, this gentleman basically telling his significant other wife, basically he doesn't want to talk to her because every time he talks to her, she feels like he's being attacked. And every time he shares how he feels, is and then the reason why he don't say anything or he doesn't even try to talk to her is because she taught him that every time I do this is how you gonna act. So I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
And he used certain scenarios about the whole sleep, not having enough sex, or he used the whole scenario of what did he say? He said I know it was a sex thing, and then it was something else. Being submissiveness. So he used those as examples. But and see, that's where I was going with it. Does it matter how the fact that you said that you are afraid to talk to me? That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't even care about the submissive and the sex thing.
Right.
We are in a relationship. And if I come to you and tell you I'm afraid to talk to you, and
that's
all
a problem.
I get is, I don't do nothing right. Come on, man, for real.
That's a big problem.
Yeah.
But when you come to me with your issue, then I'm supposed to be, okay, I'm focused all in. What we doing? Okay, let's come up with a plan. Let's try to do this. Okay, so how am I making you do this? But if you got somebody that's afraid to speak to you, and you're trying to get to the end game, which is a relationship, and you're in a relationship with him, and the other person is shutting down. And this is why I played it, because we were talking about shutting down. Is that a problem? If it's a problem and your dude or your woman tells you this, that's a problem.
Did you have any recording on what her response was at all?
Nah, but I'll give y'all the link or whatnot. Actually, it was a marriage counseling thing. So that was a scenario that he was using. She was talking about it. They're both two like marriage counselors or whatever. Right. So he was giving that point, and then she was giving that point. Because if you heard her, she was talking about how did I make you feel that? How did I teach you that? Because every time I speak to you and tell you how I feel, you shut down, you flee, you looking, you say we done, you quitting, you don't want to be here. Oh, this is too hard. The whole nine. It's just kind of like, well, how am I supposed to build something with you when every time I share how I feel, you're looking for the door?
I think that's the thing. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say that one thing that I think is 100% valid is definitely we teach people how to accept our responses. We condition each other how it is to act. So if I continually beat a dog, the dog is going to, every time the dog sees me, the dog is going to expect to get beat. So we can definitely condition other human beings to do the same thing. And she would have to admit her flaw in that. But then there comes the selflessness. You know, if you're going to be in a relationship with each other, you have to be willing to accept that sometimes you are not going to be perfect and you are going to make mistakes. But we absolutely teach people how to treat us, and we absolutely teach people how we're going to respond. So, you know, without even seeing the clip and just hearing the feedback from the other ladies and you explaining it to me, I absolutely agree with why he would feel that way. And that is the problem. You know, she should take a step back and be like, wow, my man, my partner is afraid to talk to me. What have I done to put that feeling in him? But then that's a mature response, and she may not be at that place.
Because that's what's gonna make him start doing is gonna seek somebody else to talk to about it. That's what's gonna end up happening. And then you're gonna have outside people coming into your relationship.
Right.
Well, you know, and sometimes we feel attacked. We feel like we're being attacked because we're guilty.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Brandon.
So we as women have to take ownership of that, though, because if we have the power to make somebody feel a certain way, then you should probably figure out, you know, how that person, how their relationship is, how you respond to certain people, or how people respond to you, and look at the bigger picture and look on the inside and say, maybe I said that wrong, or you know, maybe I did something to make you feel some type of way. I think listening is part of that. Like communication with comprehension is a big part of that. And then not only that, there's the safe space for him to feel vulnerable. You don't give him that. Like Charles said, I'm gonna look for something else. If that's the case. If he were a man that's saying, okay, she don't hear me, I just want somebody to hear me. That's it.
Right.
But we don't leave a safe space as women. Sometimes when we beating him, everything that's being said, everything that's being done, he can't come to you and just talk to you as his lady. So it's where's the accountability in this relationship, individually and collectively, for us to actually grow to something bigger?
I think too, a big question, and I might be unpopular with other women for saying this, but a lot of times we as women, we play victim. And I can totally see if this scenario is the way that I you know, am I understanding it, that if this man did step out and he did, you know, find a friend or find someone who's listening to him, you know, the first thing that she would holler is, oh, he cheated on me. I didn't even do nothing wrong to him and he cheated on me. Well, you know, I think cheating can be a two-way street. You know, if you don't feed someone, they're going to go eat somewhere. And I think, you know, sometimes we can't always play innocent victim because she did things to cause the deterioration of the relationship, to almost introduce another woman into the marriage, because you have to understand part of your responsibility as a partner in a relationship is ensuring that your partner has what they need so they can't go look somewhere else. So they can't go find someone else. They should always want to turn to you. And when you let that happen, you might as well bring another woman in the marriage for him, because you've already created that atmosphere that I can't be heard. I'm not going to be accepted, but I need that as a person. I need that as a human being. And that's where infidelity starts. To me, that's the birthplace of infidelity. And people always look at infidelity as it's a one-way street. That person cheated. Well, no, what was the catalyst? Sometimes there is a catalyst. Not saying it's justified, but sometimes there is a definite catalyst that caused that to happen.
Very true.
So you said something, Ms. Roy. That'll be my next question. As women, because I know men, and I'm gonna give them the business on this question. As women, do you think you are, or as women, or y'all are women, do you think women are emotionally controlling?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because
Why?
we are almost the barometer of the relationship. Men can be physically controlling, but women, we definitely know how to manipulate emotions better than men do. We are a lot more evolved at it. We're a lot more better at twisting things. And I say this from being years of doing marriage counseling. I have seen consistently where there's been a man who was physically controlling, but not realizing that physical control came out of her emotional control of him. You know, her pointing him in different directions and getting him to do things. You know, I mean, women, we are better astute at manipulating feelings. I'm not saying that, and that cannot necessarily be a bad trait. There are women that we are more emotionally involved, that we can get our husbands to do the right thing. You know, most people look at it as, oh, you're controlling, this a negative thing. Not necessarily if you can motivate it the positive way. But women, we are definitely more emotionally involved. And that's the first thing most women will say, oh, we're better emotionally involved. We're more in touch with our feelings. So that has a two-way street. You have to accept that, yeah, if you're more emotionally involved, you absolutely have the power and ability to control the emotional tone of a relationship.
And I'm gonna agree with that too. I was gonna add a couple things. I think that's where that cliche, whatever they say, where happy wife, happy life, because because that's the emotional thing, and that even though it's it has a negative connotation in a lot of ways, but that's where it comes from. Being that the woman does kind of control the emotional energy, even in a room, like, you know what I mean? And so but I also was thinking, and I'm not no way biblically versed in any of that, but I do, if I'm not mistaken, there is something in the Bible that says that basically if the man is not connected to God, or he's not following Christ, or something, that the woman can get him there by doing the right thing, by following Christ, by
right.
So it like I say, I definitely agree that women do typically control with emotions.
And then there's that old saying, I don't know if you all heard this, men might be the head, but the woman is the neck. That neck is that emotional control.
And that's what makes her the helpmate.
Yeah. And a very powerful helpmate.
So Ms. Latanya, let me ask you this. Do you, as women, do you believe women are emotionally selfish?
Selfish? Oh man. They can be. I don't think that I am in particular, because I'm always a selfless person. But I think if you're wanting your needs met all the time, and you're not interested in what the other person needs, or their love. Now, I hate that love language because we all got different things about that. But anyway, but if you're not in tune with your mate, you have to, I know the Bible said deal with your mate, with wife with knowledge, but we also as women, we need to deal with our mates with knowledge as well. And I don't think we're just automatically emotionally selfish. I think, like I said, it goes back to foundation, beliefs, mindsets, and stuff like that, how you deal with your emotions. I think I do know women that use their emotions as a weapon sometimes to be manipulative, like she said. I do know that we are capable of doing that.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you, as women, and like I said, I want y'all to talk to women because these are just questions. Do you think that as women, you misuse the words "I love you"?
Yes.
Miss Roy.
I'm just saying, and I'm only
It's
saying
cool.
this
I'm just
because
laughing. I'm just
it's
like,
just
wow.
a
It was like
psychological.
you would have thought.
I mean, it's just I see it so much in my practice in the years that I've been involved in mental health. Women are we are amazingly evolved in emotions.
Yeah.
Way more so than men. And the abilities that we have, we may not have physical prowess equal to a man. We may not have the control physically that men have to exert, but we definitely can control the mind and make things go our way. And we know what to do. We know what to employ. We know when to cry, when not to. We know when to turn it off, when to turn it on. We know, and we talk in women as groups. Girl, you know what I had to do. I had to pretend like, we ain't never had these group conversations. Come on, ladies.
Yeah.
Back me up here. We have had these conversations. Girl, I had to pretend like I was crying because he sure was getting on my nerves and I wanted to hurry up and end this conversation. And all I did was, and yep, or I wanted to go shopping. I want this.
But that's the analytical side of us. We've already gone through the conversation of our head, and we've already analyzed how many ways that the conversation can go.
Yes.
And in the result, where I mean, it's just a natural thing, and that's why we either nurturers, we bear children, and we raise, we do all that stuff with the kids because we teach them how to deal in their emotions and all that stuff. And so with men, it's just like it's a problem, I gotta fix it, and that's what they see. It's black and white.
This is chess, not checkers.
Oh well, I can honestly say I can't speak for most men. I play chess, so I'm just saying. That would be anyway. So okay, y'all. The rest of y'all can answer. I mean, y'all just jump in. I mean, because my thing is that I've heard, I got this from a friend. She said women misuse the words "I love you" and don't know what that means. To them, she said when women say "I love you" is because I'm saying I love you, not because I love you. I love the benefits of you.
Right.
So let's just break that down. If love's not a feeling, it's an action. But like old boy said, if every time I say something to you, you ready to walk out the door. But in the same breath, you say, "I love you." How you loving me? But I mean, you ready to go at any moment.
I really feel like at times playing with those words is really like playing with fire. Can't play with someone's emotions like that and turn it off and on when you feel like it. Because I mean, if she's on the foot, would you really like be in the same boat and feeling the same way? You can't use those words. And to be honest, me being in my 30s, I don't really deal with a lot of people. So when I say it, I mean it. Like, I'm not out here just portraying these words just to get anything from someone. That's not my cup of tea, because I definitely wouldn't want anybody to do me that way. So, I mean, I'm not trying to receive those benefits back, especially if they're not good ones. But, everybody got their own qualms, to each his own. But honestly, those are not words to really truly play with.
I agree. I'm gonna agree with that too, and then just kind of add into the fact that women can be manipulative. Sometimes women actually do love, but they act like they don't. We have a lot of pride as well. We tend to try to use it against you, like all the things I did for you because I love you. And then try to make people feel guilty and all those kind of things. So I mean, it's there's a lot of games that do come with that.
I think also too, since we're talking about women, but I don't think this is necessarily gender specific. Sometimes we love the idea of a person,
yes,
and not necessarily them. And that's tricky too, because of how maybe something that you want, like if you're out here dating purposefully with intentions, and then you meet someone and they're checking all your boxes and you're so in love and you're missing all the red flags, but you're in love with the idea. So you may tell someone that you do love them because you do, but you love the idea of them, what they you love more so what they represent, not necessarily the individual. So, and I think we have to be aware of that as well.
And it has to be followed up with actions.
Yeah, I think
you can't
honestly,
just say it.
Yeah, we've let society put too much pressure on those three words. Because there's so much more action. Because you can tell me you love me, and you beat me. So I think society has put too much emphasis on I love you versus looking at what a person, and what he said he loves me. No, what is he showing you today? And you could have been in love with the person yesterday. And that's something I'm learning. Maybe you fell in love with the beginning of the person or the beginning of the relationship, and you're holding on to that I love you 10 years later when he's mistreating you, but all you're holding on to is the beginning of where the love started. So I just think society has put too much emphasis on that whole I love you, because you have to look at, they say love is an act, you have to look at the actions beyond just what you're saying to me. So I tell my husband I love him every day because I want something, but not playing. But you know what I mean? And my love is he shows me love. And so if he could go all day without telling me he loves me, I know by what he does for me that he loves me. And I'm not gonna be mad because he goes a day without saying, babe, I love you, because he shows me on a daily that he loves me. He's consistent. And I can say the person I was with 10 years ago, he's evolved as a man, but at the same time, the way he treats me is still that same person. So I'm not stuck in love with the person that he, showed me 10 years ago.
Right.
You know what somebody will say something.
No, I was going to piggyback with Monica. Like, even with that, when you've been with someone for a long time, like you said, what was going on, when we was in our 20s, that love still has to evolve, like you were saying. So you don't, again, still falling in love with an idea of a person that, what they were 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And we have to be mindful of that as well as we continue to grow and evolve.
I heard something a little while ago. I don't know if it was an interview. I think it was Cicely Tyson or something like that. And they asked her if she ever been in love. And she was talking about the really only love that she really knows about is the type of love that Jesus had when he died on the cross. And that just messed my mind up, for people to just say they love somebody. And she's like, if you don't have that type of love, what is love really? And so when I think about that, I'm just like, man, you really have to do some sacrificing. You really have to, put in the effort. You really have to show it. You don't have to say it all the time, but you should already know. You should feel it, and that other person should feel it. And in my mind, I'm like, and these are all life lessons for me. As I'm speaking, because I've learned and I've grown over time. But it's just like you just really have to try to get aside from yourself and understand that just because you feel love a certain way doesn't mean that that's the same type of love that the other person's going to feel. You pay attention and you notice the things. You notice how they react when you do certain things, or you just paying attention. Because sometimes sometimes people won't just say, hey, this is what I like. This is what, you just have to pay attention. You pick up those little hints, and then you feed off of it, and you just continue to grow off of it.
My thing is, when you love somebody, even in I'm gonna call it the first quarter of your relationship, you have to, and shout Slim Thick, because she taught me this a long time ago. I believe when you're in the first quarter of your relationship, you need to be in the bubble. Because we need to learn each other. We need to go through some stuff. I need to see when problems exist, challenges happen, how do we handle it? Do we handle it in retreating from each other, shutting down, not communicating? Are we consistent about really trying to change what the problem is? Or are we just talking about change? Or it's just, or in my situation when I was married, it was everything I did was nailed to the cross. But everything you did is swept underneath the rug. You want to come here and give me some and we done. Unfortunately, I ain't that dummy and it don't work that way. Because I literally turned around and told her, oh, we still gonna talk about this though. Because that's not the end of the conversation. So you have to learn death to self. When you start talking about love, I can't go in there with all the teachings that I was taught. And she can't either. We have to figure out our own narrative. And when you're in that bubble, that's how you figure out your narrative. That's how you figure out how to work through problems. That's how you talk about if she got kids, how you discipline the kids, how this goes on. You have to do all that. But you cannot build that foundation with anyone if you don't know if they're going to be in or be out. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You have to make up your mind if you're going to do it or not.
I got a question for you, Greg. Do you think that in that quarter, that bubble time, that you should keep it to just you two and not really talk about it to other people? Because you're going to hear negativity from people and you're going to hear, all kinds of stuff. Are you sure? And, I've had situations where people tell me, well, he cute, but I got this friend, and it's like, nah, I'm trying to focus on who I'm focused on. And so do you agree that it should stay between the two of you for a while till y'all have established the type of relationship that, or built that foundation?
If we in a relationship, I got a problem with you talking to my mother or my sister or Mr. Tanya, that ain't solving it. I may be getting advice, but the problem is between us two. Because
I'm not talking about problems. I'm not talking about problems. I'm talking about if you're excited about a relationship, you got a new relationship and you're just excited about it. When I'm asking you, should you keep it to yourself or should you immediately go and tell other people about your excitement about being in a relationship? I ain't talking about problems between y'all two, period. I don't care how long you've been in a relationship.
But all those things exist. No, keep it to yourself. If you got a new relationship and you enjoying it, enjoy that person. See, the thing is, this is how I look at it. So I don't have kids, but I'm just going back to when I had. My whole thought process was when you have kids and you're doing a business, a relationship, and you get caught up in the business part. Take care of kids, take care of his house, this and that. When these kids have graduated and went on and been married and doing their own thing, you have to come back now and realize, okay, who is Bree now? Because Bree wasn't the chick I married at 30. So she's evolved in certain type of ways. So now I'm have to relearn you. But this is why you stay in communication. This is why you have date night. This is why you talk. This is why you keep your friends out your business. Because see, when you mad at me, you at your friends, girl, he ain't nothing, he ain't this, da, 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 da. But that one girl in the back done told you, look, when you talk to us about him, he better than a lot of dudes you've been with. So if you do the pros and cons, you really gonna throw him away? But then how can you say you're really ready to be in love if you cannot go through me the 4 seasons, the excitement, the good, the bad, and in the pit? If I can't love you in the pit, I'm not trying to love you in the palace. If you can't stick around when it's ugly, then you only stick around when it's bad. I mean, stick around when it's good. It's not gonna be good. And what you're really doing is you teaching me how you really gonna be if I was to put a ring on you. See, everybody wants the ring. Everybody want to be a wife. Oh, I'm ready to be a wife. Da, 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 da. But are you really ready to handle responsibilities when you get into a relationship with somebody? That's my question. But with that being said, another question. And I'm glad Miss Latanya here because I know she does. And of course, Ms. Roy. Do you think as women, you project your insecurities and your triggers and your traumas onto others so you don't have to be held accountable?
I think at some point you did.
Sometimes, yes.
Man.
I think you I was just saying, I think you do, not intentionally until you're evolved enough to realize you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't always necessarily know that's what you're doing. until maybe somebody points it out to you, or you live life a little longer and then you start realizing that's what you're doing. So I don't think it's intentionally, it's just you don't realize that you're actually, projecting those things on other people.
And I agree. And then I'm like, my mind is telling me that, it would take a special person to be able to tell you, say, hey, hold on, is this really about me? And you be able to receive that when they address it to you and say, hey, I don't think this is about me. I think you're upset about something else. Can we let's talk about it a little bit, because I don't think the situation is as serious as it seems. And you have to be able to receive that and say, you know what, you're right. I am projecting something. I am, because this happened in my past. This is why I said what I said. But I do realize that you're not that same person. So it just, I think somebody said it earlier. You have to be able to receive the feedback. Because we do that. We do it. I don't like, this is one of those things I feel like isn't gender specific, but when I do think I can only speak from a woman's point of view because I'm a woman. Yes, we do that. But it also takes, you have to, like you say, Ms. Monica, you have to humble yourself and understand that that is what you're doing and be able to receive that feedback when somebody does point it out to you.
So, Ms. Latanya, I'm asking you because I read your book. So, of course, you're engaged. What's up, King? But I want to know, like, during the beginning stages, did you ever have moments where he may have done something that triggered? Well, say he acted a certain way, but he didn't do anything, but it triggered you to be like, nah, you acting like such, 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 such. And then what you made up in your head is like the truth, but it really is not fact or truth, but you never had the conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes. For me personally, I've always talked out my stuff. So I'm trained to do that. So maybe it's a little easier for me. But when he met me, I have, of course, based on my life, and you read my life, pretty much my life story. I've never had something solid in my life, like a real relationship. Never seen a healthy relationship. And every time something would happen, they leave, and so I feel like I can't hold on to anything. So I built up insecurities based on I'm not good enough to hold on to anybody. My daddy didn't do it. So every man feels, every time you get in a relationship, you kind of overcompensate, trying to allow somebody to make somebody stay with you. However, I don't think you're projecting out your insecurities on purpose to not so you can't be taking accountability for it. I think it's just a learned thing. Like, okay, I got to do this. I've learned, I used to jump over the moon trying to make people love me, right? So I would just keep overcompensating. So, okay, this didn't work, so I got to do it. So, but then you keep, I've been in a domestic violence relationship, more than once, right? So, I've been in all these crazy marriages, So, but I always, and that did trigger thinking something wrong with me. You remember when I told you, like, my husband slept with somebody, gave me a disease, so I can't have kids, right? So you took life from me. So I never felt worthy. So every time somebody come in my life, I'd be like, okay, when is the shoe gonna drop? What they gonna do next? So because I'm never gonna get this thing, what we call love. So in my life and me walking, yes, I think that I was projecting insecurities because I've never been secure, ever. Right. So how do I know I'm not consciously doing it, but I've never been secure. So everything always fell apart anyway. So I've tried to hold on to stuff. And when you hold on to stuff, if you trying to make somebody stay, it's really not going to work. That's the difference when we talk about a grown woman and a little girl. That's the difference. Now I know the difference. I shouldn't have to, I'm good enough within myself. I don't have to make you love me, and I can't make you love me. But I don't think, for me, I've always taken accountability for my actions, good, wrong. I've done some terrible things, of course you don't read the book. So I've done some things, but I think those things I had to learn how to love Tanya, go back to the base, even though my parents didn't teach me, and of course the church was supposed to teach me too, they didn't, so I had to go back to the source of God himself.
Don't get the book.
I had to go back to God himself to get the source of how to learn. So even now, I'm be 53, I'm still learning. Like I'm learning me every day. Like I'm learning what makes me good. What, what are my hangups? Why am I messed up? I done been to enough therapy. I tell people all the time, yes, I'm a life coach, but I still have my own therapist, my own coach to help me get through all the stuff that I go through even now. But I don't think I did insecurity as in like, oh, I'm going to like on purposely project. I didn't know, and I know a lot of people like me, they never know what security is. So how do you not act insecure? You know what I'm saying? Until you learn better, right? And it is a process to learn.
It is
better.
a process.
Everyday process. I'm not who I was 5 years ago, but I hope I'll be better tomorrow, or I'm always trying to make the stuff that I'm getting emotionally upset about at 50, I don't really do a lot because that would have brought me down at 20. But I don't think any of us actually, I hope, and I could only go by my heart, purposely project insecurities to take the blame off of ourselves. We all need to be accountable for our own insecurities and inadequacies or whatever we have.
And Bree, I like what you said, and I agree with you too, because being on the other side of whether you're the man or the woman, and like I say, a lot of stuff I'm talking about is not gender specific. We're just talking to women right now, and I'm gonna do the same thing to these fellas. But it's like on the other side that when you, if I continually accuse you, or if you do something, and then I'm triggered in my mind to be like, oh, that happened to me when I was with such and such. But now you're getting the blame for it. You're getting all the drama for it. But if I didn't do it, why am I getting the drama for it? The person that did it should have got the drama.
And why are you staying if you're not the person that's doing it?
I think it's a form.
I think once you know that you're not you're not gonna make me feel guilty of something I'm not guilty for. So I have the determination if I'm going to stay in your toxic situation or I'm going to remove myself. So you shouldn't take it. We talked about this on the phone call before, right? You shouldn't take anybody toxic behavior, especially when you're not to blame for it. And just
I think it's, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, just because something looks the same, and I'm very good now. There's certain movies I can't watch, right? I'm just this 101 therapy. Certain conversations I can't have, certain environments I can't be around based on my life experiences, right? That's going to so it'll make me unhealthy, right? So I don't, if that happens and I feel like you're doing something, like me and you talk, right? Greg, hey Greg, when you did this, I felt, I'm a dialogue back to you. I'm not going to say, Greg, you shouldn't have done this, because I'm healthy enough to say, hey, Greg, when that looks familiar to me. So what happened then when you did this, it made me feel this certain way. Now, if we have a healthy relationship, I'll be able to say that to you and say, hey, this looks like this. It made me feel like, let me let you know what's going on with me, right?
Right.
I still have nightmares. So I still have nightmares now, right? If you're dating me, and I'm telling you up front, hey, I have nightmares, I can't do but this certain kind of music, this smell. I tell you, so hopefully, like we were talking about communication and comprehension earlier, when these things happen, these triggers happen, you're healthy enough with me. I've given you information, and me and you are working through this trigger together. It's when you're not healthy, if you're in an unhealthy relationship, though, everything's gonna look like you doing it, and everybody's fighting to be right, but ain't nobody healing around here. So that's I don't think you should stay in a situation that you're not. Like me and you have talked before.
Yes, ma'am.
Why deal with something that ain't somebody mistreating you? Nobody needs to be mistreated. Period. So
go ahead, Mom.
I was just saying in response to what Latanya was saying. Well, two sides of that. If somebody's steady projecting that on you, you have to, as like you said, protect yourself. But that person needs to look back and like, are they really ready to, move on anyway? But that other person also has to provide if that person, like you said, a healthy relationship or a goal for that relationship is for it to work. If that goal is for that couple, for that relationship to work, you have to understand that some patience does have to be there. Like I know for me going in, my husband and I had a child, I had my own, I came in with a daughter. I was very insecure, as if you want to call it that, about, I don't play about, like, don't make me feel like my daughter is a burden. Like if I ask you to pick her up and you make a face, I'm gonna be mad,
Right.
because you know what I mean?
Right.
And so you have to grow to trust your person. To, you know what I mean? So it's like it's so many sides to that that everybody takes apart. But in order for it to work, you have to have a goal of making this relationship work. And you have to go in like, and I tell people I've been married 9 years, but I just got married 5 years ago. And I say that because it wasn't until then that I came into the understanding of what the marriage entailed. It wasn't until then that I saw like the end of the marriage. And you have to begin with the end in mind. If you're wanting your marriage to last long term, you have to look at what it is. What do we have to do today to make this thing work? And that means listening, comprehending, and talking, and respecting one another's their triggers and things like that, you know, and making that person feel comfortable. And even like I tell my kids, if a person apologizes too many times with no change behavior, they don't mean it. But the person that cares about you, when you apologize to that person, they will do it. They will try to make it better because their intention is not to hurt you. And so that should be the same thing with your partner. If don't keep apologizing about the same thing.
And Brandy said it's a form of self-sabotage when you don't give someone a fair beginning. When is that basing? I didn't see what you said, Rick.
It's basing something off of something old.
Something
like,
old.
You still have triggers, but you're not giving this new person a fair trial, not starting fresh in order to be able to say, okay, maybe it's not them, it may be me. So maybe if I take a back seat to what's being actually said, what's being actually done, maybe we can get somewhere without, I guess, misconception. Because sometimes with self-sabotage, there comes three things. It's overthinking, it's really not hearing clearly, and then it's always assuming. So whenever you get, to a better consensus of what's truly being said, you can get somewhere.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference between constructive feedback or constructive conversations versus having the blame going back and forth as well. And I was going to say something earlier. We one thing I like being in, and I always take it to education just because that's what I teach kids. So I teach them how to be productive later on. And so one of the things I used to say to them is that, they get in a fight. Well, they made me mad. Nobody made you do anything. Nobody stuck a hand up your butt and controlled your mouth, controlled you like a puppet. You're not a puppet. You control that. And so sometimes we just have to make sure that we just stay in control of us, and accountability is one of those words that, we've been hearing a lot, and it's real. We really have to just, understand what is the common denominator really. Who is really the issue? What is really the issue?
So, Marka, you said something, and it triggered this. And I have two more questions, and then if y'all are willing, I would like to bring y'all back so we can go through it a little bit more, because I don't want to keep y'all too long, but I think this is good conversation. And fellas, I don't know where you at, but don't be sitting there clapping, doing all that extra stuff. Oh, because I got some business for you. But I want y'all to hear this.
We give up a little bit too fast, or as soon as it gets hard, that's when we're like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this. And I think some of the best things come right after fear, or right after, those hard moments. That's when you finally get your breakthroughs. But some of us never get to see that because we stop too early.
Do y'all believe that's true? Do we stop too early? Well, let me say this before you answer. I'm gonna let y'all think about it. Me and Clint had this conversation, and Clint, he was talking about himself, and it was cool the way he put it. He said the foot, he was talking about Tom Brady and the game they had or whatever or not, and it was a football game, right? So he started the football game. If you remember the football game, if you watched it, first quarter, second quarter, Tom Brady was behind. They was losing. Then they had halftime, and then came back out and came within minutes of winning and moving on to the Super Bowl. And he said, Greg, what I mean by that is with his ex-wife, he said, I started a football game. We was in our first and second quarter, and we was losing.
We did halftime. But at third quarter, I quit. I didn't see it all the way through. Who's to say it wouldn't have changed if I would have kept showing up, if I would have stayed in the game, not looking for the door. And I thought that was real big in him. We had those conversations all the time. But I want to know what y'all think.
I think that's a double-edged sword because
Yes.
it's two sides to that. Sometimes people stay too long. Sometimes you don't stay long enough. It's one of those, honestly, there's no right or wrong to me. You have to really do what's best for you because some people stay in toxic situations way too long. And then on the other side of that, some people do prematurely leave after, let's say, so, I guess outside forces, friends, or, people telling you, girl, you need to go. But it's to me, that's a double-edged sword. And it's really no right or wrong. It's really one of those, you got to do what's best. You really have to look at your situation and what is it doing to your mental, you have to protect your peace. You have to protect you have children, you have to protect what they're exposed to. And so that's a tough one to me.
So Marco, let me ask you this to go along with what you said, because you mentioned the word toxic, if it's a toxic situation, but what if you the one that's toxic?
That's very possible. But of course, and you may be mature enough to notice your toxicity. You may, you know what I'm saying? You may be at that point, but I doubt it. But because if you've been, you're not gonna own it. But maybe if you get mature enough, you're mature enough to say, "Hey, I don't see me changing. If you have to leave, I understand, but I don't see that really, somebody really doing that." But
most toxic people don't even really know that they're toxic, and at some point, at some point when you realize that you're always, somebody keep telling you just the same thing over and over, and your relationships are ending the same way because of the same reason, at some point, somebody gotta notice that they need a change. But some people just stay in they toxic and they don't care about being, I don't know.
I think when you're in relationships, you kind of like what Monica was saying, it is a double-edged sword, because I think you need to have some level of discernment when you're in relationships so that you don't stay too long or leave too soon before you get to see the relationship flourish.
Now, what I'm gonna say, in my opinion, when you're trying to create something and you're doing it purposely and intentionally and get to marriage, the first thing you cannot do is look for the front door. I cannot leave you because I can't just leave because of this and because of that. Because think about it, if I leave you because of this and this, and this might be this minute. So what happens if we get to the point of being married and then I leave you for stuff that's bigger than that? That's telling me you don't even want to work towards trying to find a common ground. And like Monica said earlier, you are trying to, okay, we're trying to work to this goal. See, what did I tell you? I was talking to Webster. Say it for me, because I'm gonna say it wrong. The one with the two circles. The one with the two circles. The one I was telling you about, the two circles and the thing in the middle.
Venn diagram.
So I was telling her the Venn diagram, if you ever see it, it's like two big circles and one in the middle. The way I look at that is that, okay, so on the outside, these are certain things that, hey, if I know Webster having a bad day, I'm gonna tell her go to Ross, because that's her thing. She likes to shop. It's like, hey, go to Ross, go chill out, do what you need to do, or go holler at B, go holler at Mo, do what you need to do. And then she know me, I'm the music dude, or you like to go have live music. Hey, let's go here, let's go do this, whatnot, right? But at the end of the day, after you go do you and process what you need to do, if you're really trying to create a real relationship, you got to get back to the football that's in the middle. Because you have to, and the reason I say that is because you have two independent people coming together for one common cause. Whatever the goal is, maybe I can push you to do what you need to do, you're going to push me to do, but we're coming together for one common cause. So this is when I hear the frame, men don't like independent women. Two of these women out here now that are related to me are very independent. But however, they they've learned, or I can speak for my mother from what I've seen, she never took my father's integrity away from him. Even though I know he didn't run the house, you couldn't tell it. And I think a lot of situations now, and I'm not blaming women for that. I blame men. We're gonna talk about that because some of us stop showing up. You stop being present. So now you cause the woman to have to be the man and the woman. But then when you go on and then you find somebody who wants to be your partner, you have to kill that person that you've created in order to survive. Because if that person's coming in wanting to be a partnership with you and you still looking at it's an independent thing, not telling you take your independence away, but we got to work together for a common cause, if that makes sense. With that being said, let me ask you this, and then I got something y'all can play with. As women, are you open to the same criticism that you give?
We can try to be open to that criticism, but I mean, at times it's difficult, you know. I think women, we tend to be a little bit, what's the word I'm going to look for? Sensitive, and we take offense very quickly. So I think we're open. A lot of times we don't want to admit the flaws that we do have. It would be great if we could, but you know, not a lot of times we can. I'd like to say, I mean, as a woman, I'd like to say gladly, oh yeah, you know, we don't have any problem with that. But I think our keen sensitivity makes us more apt to be more sensitive and to take, you know, everything super personal when we don't necessarily have to take it super personal. I don't know if any other ladies agree.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I do apologize.
No, you're okay.
I think that goes back to something I mentioned earlier. When you create that safe space with your partner, I think it makes it a little easier when your partner is providing you with feedback, then you don't feel so attacked where you don't instantly go into sensitivity mode. I mean, we're sensitive. Most women are sensitive by nature. Not all of us, but most of us are. Right. But I think that helps when you create that safe space with your partner and you have to replay, okay, I know he's not trying to attack me. I know he loves me. I know he's trying to sell, you know, there's no malice in his heart or anything like that. But it doesn't stop the way that you initially feel, because sometimes we do have knee-jerk reactions and have to go back and say, okay, that may have not been his intentions. Maybe he is trying to tell me something that'll best benefit me, you know?
And you know, I guess for me, it's about your mindset. If you're really trying to be a better you, then you're open to that criticism, or at least let me speak for me. I'm open to that criticism. I mean, because there are times that even Greg says things to me and I may not respond then, but when I've had time to process it and to really sit in my truth, I have to go back and say, you know what, you were absolutely right. And now I need to try to, since I'm trying to be a better me, I have to learn to be open to that and at least entertain the idea that what they're saying is right. So to me, it's all about your mindset and where you are in your life.
I agree with you 100%. I will say this. One thing I've learned, and we all said, is how it's given. It's how it's given. Everybody can't take everything, and so sometimes, and this is something I do with. I don't necessarily do it with my husband. I do it with my kids. Sometimes, if it's too hard to say, we write it down. Because it may be something, because you can take that, you write it down, you give it to me, let me take it, let me, sit in it, and you're not so quick to respond with facial expressions or with something that you may say. Whereas, like you said, if you're really set on, I want to improve, or I want to make this relationship work, whatever it is, seeing it in that manner may help you take it better than, because you can't, because sometimes you can, unfortunately, you can't always control your facial expression. Your face might give you away, but that'll at least give you an opportunity to have it, to sit in it and process it. And so you may be able to take it better until you've matured to the point where you can have those face-to-face conversations and, about those hard topics and, things that are about you.
Okay. All right. So I read this somewhere, so I'm gonna read it to y'all. A good man that knows his value but has been through stuff will create his own peace and will chill in it and wait for a woman to add to it. They are not out there dating a new girl every week and spending all their money. These are men that we should deem as high quality, but also these are the men that we overlook.
I don't know that you necessarily overlook them. Again, it's your mindset. What are you looking for? If you're looking for somebody that's going to add to the piece that you've already found, that's definitely not somebody I'm going to overlook. That's somebody I'm going to actively pursue.
So when you say mindset, do you mean they have to be on the other side of hurt?
They have to be in their peaceful place. And if that means on the other side of hurt, absolutely.
I think anybody who's ready to get into a relationship and share their life with somebody, they have to be on the other side of hurt. It has to be a heal. It has to be not necessarily, back in the valley, but you got to be over that hump. You can't sitting at the top of the mountain about, almost on this side and kind of on that side, kind of teeter-tottering. You got to be on that other side of hurt and heal, at least in the process of healing, if not, at your healing point, at your peaceful point.
I think you have to be ready for it. Because I think my husband, I consider him a nice guy. And so he always the nice guys always finish last. And when I look back on when I dated, I've dated nice guys, but at the time where I was in my life, I wasn't ready for a nice guy. But it's when I met my husband, I was ready for the nice guy. I was ready for the guy that I didn't have to question. And I tell all my friends this: when it's the right person, it's not that hard. All the drama, should I call him back? It's not that hard. They don't make you. And to this day, my husband can go off on he'll go to ministers' conferences and maybe I'm too secure, but he never makes me feel like I should doubt what he's doing. You know what I mean? And so I do feel like you have to be ready for that good guy in order to proceed, move forward. So it's not that they're overlooked. It's just the person that's ready for them. They just they haven't come across that person yet.
On the other side there, you got to be like Miss, and that's what I would only say, how Mr. Tanya has her king now. She had the conversation, she told him, but he's being patient. He's not looking for the door, he's in it. If she does have a trigger, he hey, baby, that ain't it. It's this. Or she asks him a question and don't stay in her head about what's going on. So I'm like, Bree, you gotta be on the other side of hurt and be willing and be open and to understand that, it's nothing malice, it's nothing hurtful that I'm saying. Iron sharpens iron. So we're supposed to sharpen each other. I want you to be critical of me. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Don't let me out here being bad. That's crazy. I mean, to me, that's love. All that other stuff. I mean, I guess, words and that don't bother me, but certain things do. So I'm open now. The old Greg was not. I wasn't trying to hear all that. I was listening to respond. I was not listening to listen. But now, when I have a conversation, it's okay, I hear her, she hear me. Because, you hear that all the time. Well, I just want to be heard. Well, I want to be heard too. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying what I'm saying is right, but, hear what I'm saying and just think about it before you have a knee-jerk reaction or say that I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And I will give you this tidbit, ladies. A man that is ready to be a husband, you do not have to question. You just have to listen. You don't have to cook, do cartwheels, extra stuff, all that laundry, all that. Well, I need to do this. Let me cook for him 3 times a day. Because if you were a real dude, he gonna understand you work like you work. And if you tired, I'm tired. So what we finna go eat it? Nothing is a requirement. So, and when someone loves you, never gives up on you, stays, even when you give them reason to leave, and you don't have to ever be unsure that they want you. Because when I tell you, you don't have to do anything else.
Right.
I just want you.
Right.
That's it. And when I say I want you, I want you. All that extra, that's cool. I appreciate it. Love it. But when I say I want you and you make me feel wanted, I'm good. I don't need anything else. But I know it's been a little, we got into later hour. Thank you for all being here. Hey, so I do this thing called the moment of truth. So I'm gonna let everybody have we're gonna do it like a funeral. 2 seconds, 2 minutes. My bad, 2 minutes. So Mr. Tanya, of course, you're in North Carolina. I gotta get you back to the King. Well, I would love to have y'all back on so we can dig more into it. But Mr. Tanya, your moment of truth. You're on mute, baby.
I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, by the way.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Anyway, my moment of truth, I just want to say thank you for this enlightful conversation. Even when you think you're doing the right things, it's very good to listen to other perspectives and other mindsets. So that's what this audience has given me tonight. Because I come in with a lot of background beliefs and how I need to handle things. But to hear tonight was very powerful for me, to listen and to hear the other perspectives, and so I can do things a little different to benefit my relationship that I'm in now.
Okay. Monica, thank you, Mo, for joining. Yo, moment of truth, Monica.
No problem. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. And just last thing what you said about you don't have to know how to cook, because all I knew how to make was tacos and nachos when I met my husband. He married me anyhow, but when I tell you now, I do it all, but he made me want to be that person for him. But it wasn't a requirement. So it's been fun.
Big little sister, your mama the truth. Fix your face.
I think for me, more of it is based on just being open, just listening, being able to receive. A lot of times that's harder for some people to do. And then just being open to just self-criticism, because we always want to be right. We're women. This is what we do. But sometimes it's okay to take that, constructive criticism and say, you know what, you might be right. That's not the way I wanted to hear it, but I'll take it.
Gotcha. Little Wendy.
I have two things.
Let's go.
First, I would say that I have it was cool talking to everybody. For those who know me, don't know me, nice to meet you all. One, I do believe that you do have to be in a place to receive someone, because I had to be in a place to receive somebody, judging off of my past and hurts and traumas and everything else that has transpired in my life. One day I'll share, maybe not. But anywho, second thing, dang, just lost my train of thought that quickly. But I'm just leaving with that. It was cool talking to everybody. And yeah, you don't have to do everything when the person really wants you. I'm actually learning that just as of yesterday, had that whole conversation. So anywho.
Blew your mind. BG.
I guess for me, I'm just at that stage of my life where I just want to be a better me. I've spent a lifetime of suppressing and not having the hard conversations. And I am at the stage of my life now that I refuse to be that person anymore. And no matter how uncomfortable it may be, I am going to have the hard conversation and stop writing the narrative in my own head.
License Raw.
I popped in and out, trying to be super mom, basketball game. Shout out to my daughter. They won by 25 points.
Congrats, Niecy.
Yeah, Niecy Pooh showed out. She got about 10 of them. So, it is what it is. But I think that one of the biggest things that I want to say is, number one, thank you for letting women get together in a forum to discuss this. I think most of all that as women, if we can support each other's ideas and comments, we can have more unity amongst us. And I love the honesty. I love the fact that we were able to say, you know what, you are absolutely right. We do, can manipulate. We can do this. We can do that. But I just think that most of all, the most important thing is that we continue to be honest with ourselves and continue to have these conversations. And as women, call other women when they are doing something that's kind of destructive to the situation, because we can tear a man down. We can make it hard for other good men. So just be mindful of that. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk with such wonderful ladies again, as usual, especially the mother of Mrs. Harrington, the mother of the beast.
Man, look, I ain't got something to say. It's all good.
Man, she birthed you. She deserves Medal of Honor.
Say, look, she always gets it. Dr. B.
Oh man, I just wanted to say I appreciate this forum because we've gotten feedback from different age groups, different relationship statuses, different life experiences, and we're able to come together and just kind of share our thoughts. And one thing that I know that I personally have learned, to say a moment of truth, is that I do need to listen more. I feel like, I have always had to maintain a certain level of control because of the situation that I was in, which has, made me not ready to let somebody in and not let the words I'm trying to say, basically, I wasn't living in my femininity. I was being more trying to take on that leader role, and it's kind of backfired on me over time. And so having these conversations, having this show, especially, we talk a lot about the relationship, talk about a lot of women, and just doing some outside research, I've learned to grow. I even in this show right now, I definitely learned something, especially from Mama. And so I'm like, man, you know what? Okay, I got it. So I definitely appreciate this, this opportunity. Man, I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again.
And what she tell us is that, yeah, now that you know it, now you got to apply it. You got to do it. You can't say you're going to do something, then don't do it, because it still stays the same thing. Which goes along with the show. 360, 180. Let you think about it. Not last but not least, other than my big brother, my dude, my ace, my number one since day one, 8th grade. None other than Mr. DJ Legend, aka Charles Carey.
DJ Legend.
Nah, it was a good show, ladies. Took notes, listened to everybody what they were saying. Waiting on this men's show. We're gonna see what Greg talking about with this men's show, with these questions they're gonna ask.
Boy, y'all gonna be mad at me, but we's gonna get wild uncut. Cause some of y'all out here doing some foolery and then complaining. Like, bro.
A great show, man. I'm glad I'm back. For one, I'm glad I'm back though. So.
Yes.
Definitely glad you back, brother. Hey man, of course I appreciate y'all. And I have one area of business I need to take care of before we go. If y'all just indulge me for just a second. Of course, February the 5th, the lady y'all say gave birth to me. Birthday will be February the 5th. Of course, y'all know me. Hey, look, if you my lady, you know I celebrate you. And I started by celebrating this lady a long time ago. So, without further ado, if y'all indulge me just a second, I want to share something with y'all. 1 second. I apologize for the delay. All right. So, mother, homie, best friend, I got something I need to say to you. I just want to say first, I love you for giving me life, for loving us, for sacrificing so much so that we can have so much. You're not only our mom, but you're also our role model and our best friend. You taught us to think and speak with so much belief in who we are and what we are about. You taught us that fitting in is not how God made you. There was a bigger purpose, and I always push for us to seek that purpose. You support us and you put us on Front Street when we are wrong, never biased. Because it never matters how others may have mistreated, rejected, or hurt us. We are always to be the adult and do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You showed us how falling was okay, but we had to learn how to pick ourselves back up. You allowed for us to see your faults and understand that perfection is something you strive for. And just because you did not reach it in this instance does not mean you're a failure. Thank you for showing how love is never a feeling, but it's an action that does not give up. Thank you for showing us God's love and being an example of it. I know you have the fear that once you are gone, that we will be alone. I agree to the point that you have always been there right. You have always been there, right, wrong, and indifferent. I can say you are true. I can say you are the only woman in my life who has never just walked away. You gave us the example of grace, knowing that if you were upset if you were upset at us if we made a mistake, the words "I love you" never changed. You raised leaders with humility and confidence that some people mistake for arrogance, but those individuals don't know what the process was in order for us to get here. They don't know the depression that I went through. They don't know the life changes that I've gone through. I have went through various spots in my life. You lift me up when I was at my absolute lowest, and laugh with me when I was at my highest. You are the only person I could turn to when I feel like everything is falling apart. You continually offer guidance and advice when I feel hopeless, and you love me and taught me. I lost my place. Taught me how to give it unconditionally. I'm so blessed to have such a strong and compassionate person to look up to. You make me want to be a better person. I can only imagine and hope that as me and my sister continues our journey of life, and we grow up, that we can be half as incredible as the woman as you are. Happy 60th birthday from your children, Brandy and Gregory. And I have to complete Charles on there as well. You have been everything to these three people for a long time. And this is what I did this. I don't want to do this because I wanted Charles to be here. Because Charles, this is your mother. Hands down, no equivocations, bro. This is your mother. Anytime you need, you call. I told you at the funeral, we ride together, we die together. We've been boys since 8th grade. Ain't gonna never change. But we want you to know we appreciate you. A lot of things that you did sacrifice, a lot of things that you may have done wrong, we don't hold it against you. But you have taught us to be decent human beings. And we're going to continue that when the day comes that the Lord takes you. So happy birthday, Barbara Gail Harrington.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
So,
Happy birthday.
Brandy, I got her.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm planning a party for her when I let y'all know. She don't like to celebrate her birthday, but I feel like all people should be celebrating.
Yes.
That's why I celebrate
Yes.
everybody in any type of way. You got a good accomplishment, you did this, you did that. I'm going to celebrate you. So I'll let everybody know. Hey man, everybody that joined, I appreciate it. I know I didn't get to no comments, but I thought this conversation was relevant and I wanted to keep it in the moment. But I promise you I'll get to the comments next time. You check out the Facebook page, the Instagram page. Go check out DFW Social Lead to find out everything we got going on. I haven't forgot about the live show. The live show is coming. We had to push it back, not because of us, because of the venue, but we're definitely going to have it. And when we have it, understand in March, I want to have a women's empowerment event, and it's going to entail Miss LaTanya Renee, along with some other people. We've already discussed it, so I'm putting it together for you. And got it. Drum roll, please. Come March, we will be back in the studio. I found the studio for us to be in. We will be live in the studio doing our thing. If you haven't seen us in the studio, it's a totally different vibe. But we're going back to the studio, and yes, we'll have the call-in line for you to call in and give your comments. Once again, man, I thank everybody for being here. taking time out your day. I would love to be a part 2. Let me know if you're interested. I would definitely do that. Remember, I live by 2 mantras: faith and fear cannot dwell in the same place. And while you're here, till you get to the other side, always remember to love, live, and laugh. Think big, believe in God because He believes in us. Look, man, I'm gonna play this song because it's to me, it's fitting to what we're talking about. Other than that, you can stick around if you like. If not, man, once again, we appreciate you. We'll see you next Tuesday right here on the Full 180.
It's not that I don't want you here. Yeah. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear. No. I fall for you every time I try to resist you. We can get away. Palm trees, beach views, ordinary day. All I wanna hear is in that visions on replay. Sit right next to you. I try not to show how I feel about you. Think you wish you were, but we don't really want to. I just wanna get away and sit right next to you. I don't wanna kiss you. Yeah, I just wanna feel you. Feel you. I want you around. Around. 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 Come through, I think I need you here.
Oh, Lord.
I swear it's hard to keep this feeling to myself. Now you're the one I'm thinking of. My higher ground, my rocket love. Gravity, I'd rather stay up here. But we can get away. Palm trees, beach views, ordinary day. All I wanna hear is in the visions on replay. Sit right next to you. I try not to show how I feel about you. Think you wish you were, but we don't really want to. I just wanna get away and sit right next to you. I don't wanna kiss you. Yeah, I just wanna feel you. Feel you. I want you around.